So hello everyone, it's time for another weekly update from the chief delegates of the second mock trial Eden election that took place about a month ago now. A month tomorrow actually, yeah. So just a quick update, we don't have Felix on today, but we'll get him next week hopefully. So I'll just hand it over to Josh first for any updates you might have.
Sure, I'm going to give a report on EOS support, how those guys have been doing, bringing that initiative along. The goal is next Friday, tentatively, to have the minimum viable website and like the beginning of the service available. It's mostly going to be FAQ and the chat functionality, you know, like everything that Intercom allows. So like the first basic level of that. The site is, there's a roadmap for it. So there's things planned. Randall, who's leading the whole effort, formerly, is a designer and used to have an agency. And so it should, even the basic version is looking pretty good, but it's going to get more snazzy as things go on. There's been some, I'm just going to give like new updates basically, because anything else is just probably ongoing. Like some conversations were had that were mentioned, like with Michael at EOS USA and that kind of thing. But one notable thing is Francis from pizza.life has he's agreed to kind of initially work pro bono to help with the smart contract part of the platform that Randall wants to create. And also, so ideally he'd be compensated later on, but he's, not going to wait for money to just kind of get going on it. And Eos or Generos, I don't know how they like to pronounce that. They have agreed to help build it. And the smart contract is for like gamification and incentives. And they have quoted 31,000, I think that might be US dollars, but it might be Australian dollars. And then $1,000 a month monthly maintenance. And so they're going to wait for some funding before they get on that contract, but they seem pretty excited and really serious to do it, according to Randall. There's 5 or 6 known EOS community members who are stepping up to be representatives. And I say 5 or 6 because like at least one of them is not fully on board yet. And everyone who's buying in at the moment, they're just trying to commit to the project and essentially volunteering time without any, promise of immediate pay. Another thing happening is creating a more formal proposal and budget, more detailed budget, and a new pitch deck for the service. Basically, we want to demonstrate proof of concept and like something minimum viable so that everyone, you can talk about something, but it's just better to kind of show people what you're talking about. And we want to go directly to EOS EOS Foundation, as well as start campaigning for the next Eden election and continue to get buy-in from community members, and hopefully soon maybe get a little bit of oversight whenever the smart contract development begins, if it hasn't already. I know there's been a lot of conversation and like we're hashing out a lot of details on like how to approach it and what should be done and stuff. I don't know if any development has actually started on it. Maybe next week I can speak to that, but it would be nice. Like I like how Ami, with what you've been doing, if we can get some consulting and advising. My daughter. One moment. That's basically it for the moment. But if we could get some kind of crowdsource intelligence like Ami's had, that would be pretty awesome.
Nice.
Sweet. Awesome update. Yeah, lots going on there. That's pretty, sounds like a cool thing. Looking forward to the MVP. Ami, you can go next.
Yeah. I have the building blocks working. I have WebAuthn with the fingerprint on my phone. I didn't check with Face ID, but I'm sure it's very similar. And I can create an account. I did some tests on Jungle 3, and I also have the WebAuthn pieces to sign arbitrary transactions with it. And now I'm going to assemble everything and make an alpha version of a progressive web app. It's going to be a domain that you serve to or send a link to, and then it will ask you if you want to install it on your phone, and it will be like an app, but it's web based. So my hope is that by next week's update, I'm going to have something alpha quality to show you, and you'll be able to play with it.
Hey, great job, Emmy. Congrats.
The main obstacle I'm going to have at the end will be to make it streamlined. So I think that what's going to happen is that it's not going to automatically pop up like Anchor on the phone when there's a transaction that needs an approval. But it's going to have a manual aspect to it. So you're going to have to take some text from the app that needs a signature and copy paste it to the wallet. And that's because it's a progressive web app. It's not a first class application on the marketplace. So on the one hand, it's easy to install and easy to share the app, but on the other hand, it's not as streamlined as a regular app on the App Store. So that's what I think is going to happen at the end. But you'll be able to open the app and send EOS or other tokens from it directly. If you're going to need to integrate with another app, it's going to be a little clunky, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a way to easily onboard people and have them not worry about their private key. So using WebAuthn, that was the aim of that.
Yeah, well, ends up being like a nice, easy stepping stone in terms of an onboarding for people who are totally like your goal was your grandma and mom and all, people, friends and family who aren't really into crypto. At least it gets them in the door, and then they can learn, okay, Anchor, whatever, some of these other apps to allow for.
Yeah.
Will you be able to take the private key from yours and then import it into a traditional wallet? It'll be stuck with the WebAuthn.
But it's also the pro of using that there's no way to take the private key out, and that's a safety feature. It's built into a hardware wallet in your phone. You can't take it out. But what you can do if you want to promote to Anchor is to change or add another key to the same account. So there are different options on how to extend or how to upgrade to a regular account and get out of this limited box.
EOS in a box.
Yeah. Right.
Awesome. Okay, great. That sounds awesome. Great update. Looking forward to trying out the alpha. And then for the proxy initiative, I did 2 more videos last week. We have Amsterdam, EOS Amsterdam, and Greymass were up last week. And then this week, I have no interviews scheduled, but I've reached out to 6 separate VPs now and doing the comms bit to set up dates. So a few are busy, they say, so they'll get back to me later. But anyway, I'll keep trying to plug through those. And then this week, I'm going to try to put up a little more information about just like a spreadsheet of sorts. Right now it's in my OneNote, and then work on getting this posted to a site that can be accessible. So not a lot of progress, I suppose. I mean, the videos take a bit of time in doing that, but I'm still apprehensive to start the proxy without having done enough of these interviews, but time is running short between now and maybe the next election, so I might just have to just go ahead and do it, even though it's I don't have as many interviews as I'd like. But that's about it from the proxy side. I mean, there's lots of other stuff going on. But as
you want to mention your Russell Brand promotion?
Well, I haven't finished it yet, but yeah, sure. Like I'm doing a
or in the
response.
article at least?
Yeah, I'll mention it. Yeah, I recorded myself doing the response yesterday, so I just have to edit it and see how it looks. But Russell Brand, who most probably know who he is, he does a daily YouTube video of sorts. It's 10, 15 minutes long, and he's very much speaking about freedom and democracy and the need for new systems and new ways of democracy that are more horizontal and flat. And he mentioned in one video about bunkers that the elites are making and buying for themselves. That basically the wording he uses. We need something where groups of people can individually form and come together in a democracy amongst the people and blah blah blah. He's just basically asking for Eden. Like the Eden process is exactly the answer to the kind of the question that he has. So I want to do a response video. I'm going to cut what he says and then do a really quick, um, less than a minute response type thing, and just see if we can get his attention. If enough people share it, and then maybe other people do a response video. And it's not about EOS. It's not even about Eden. It's just about Dan's book, More Equal Animals. Russell's a pretty well-read guy, so he could bust through the 220 pages of More Equal Animals in probably a day. So yeah, the goal is just to create a video and help some of our EOS shill army share it and see if we can get Russell's attention and then get him to read the book, talk about it, and interview Dan or whatever. Right, that would be the ideal outcome. But even just to get him to see the book and to talk about it would be huge exposure to the solutions that More Equal Animals presents, which I think a lot of us are trying to get out there.
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning that we have a tweet that's circulating in reply to Lex Friedman. He was soliciting about short books and had put a list out there, and we added Dan's thing to the list. Dan retweeted it, and
Yep.
if you could give that any more love, it might help get Lex's attention, because he's got a podcast that would probably be very well suited for and receptive, just like Russell. And it might also be worth mentioning that through those open office hours that we've been doing every day, every morning, 1300 UTC. Last week there was a guy from a partner in the Holacracy One organization, the organization beyond Holacracy, like the branded framework. And we're very basically just adapting the concept right now. We're not fully using their system, but then he came on again to another office hour on Friday and allowed us to ask him a lot of questions, and even offered to give us 3 comped accounts for taking the Holacracy One or the Holacracy 101 course, and so we can learn more about it and actually apply more of the complete system if we want. And that was our first week, right?
Yeah.
Or our first week doing those. So that was an interesting connection. Basically, it came out of just putting Holacracy in some of the public content. I would say probably your videos, Chris. And we brought somebody from that organization. So that's a marketing strategy, it was genuine. Like we're really looking at this, but it brought in a good connection that mixes very well with More Equal Animals and Eden OS software. So things are happening, I guess, on a marketing front. I think we are going to make some noise.
It was interesting because he'd said he had just started Dan's book, like because of this introduction and through the fact that we kind of brought up Holacracy, he found us, and now he's reading Dan's book. He said there's in his team, like those who work at Holacracy One, some of them are into crypto, not necessarily EOS, but into crypto. And so I think this is, it's a good news story where the word is slowly getting out, right, from what we're doing. So I think it's a good sign. We just keep doing what we're doing. He also pointed out, which was interesting, that we're not really following the Holacracy process all that closely. Like this is very much a unique take, and a hybrid sort of, which he's quite interested by. He thought it was quite, this is cool. Okay, you're not really following the script that we sort of have for these, but this might very well be effective. So that was pretty cool.
We're some wild animals.
That's right. This is decentralized at its best. We're just kind of doing what makes sense amongst a few of us getting together. And we're also we should mention, we're going to start reading a little bit of a book club for More Equal Animals. And we're going to try to get a few people together who are interested to read through basically 2 chapters a week. But we want to, if we can trim it to 11 weeks will give us 20 pages a day. And then kind of go through the book and try to distill some of the key concepts and key points from the book. And if you were to, because it's one thing to say to somebody, hey, you really need to read this book and you'll understand, and you'll understand a better way to do democracy and a better way to form consensus in a group. That's maybe a little, it's not so easy. Just go ahead and read a book. But if we had a nice TLDR that took some of the core concepts, and it's more like a small, a few paragraphs that you could boil each chapter down and give that to somebody, that might be a better way to expose some of the ideas in a little more efficient manner, and then pique their interest to, of course, read the whole book. So that's coming. We'll announce that when we start that up and try to get people into probably just a private group of sorts to work through it.
Good.
And
Good ideas.
yeah, that's all we got, I think, right? Yeah, and then, like Josh said, the daily office hours do continue, 1300 UTC to 1500 UTC. So we share that on Telegram, and the Notion calendar is updated with those as well. So the calendar's got all the dates, including the open mic that will be tonight in little under 4 hours from now. So cool. All right. I guess that's it. Thanks, fellas.